Hello dear students, let us continue our discussion on sensors and transducers. In the last lecture, we discussed what sensors are, what transducer are, then what is the case when we call a sensor as a transducer. And basically what we discussed that for forming any mechatronic system, we require a data collecting element, and that data collecting elements are sensors. Along with sensor, we require a device which will convert the measured data into some binary form. That is, it will convert one form into another form, and that converting device is your transducer. So in the last lecture we discussed about transducer, we discussed about sensors. Then in the last lecture itself we also discussed that in order to utilize the sensors, we must be very much equipped with the different specifications of a sensors or transducers, and those specifications were range, span, error, accuracy, sensitivity, non-linearity. We discussed hysteresis, we discussed resolution, stability, deadband time, repeatability, and finally we settled with the last specification, that was a response time. And so all these specifications, in the last lecture we discussed about these specifications, we defined all of them, and exactly we discussed about them. Now moving forward, since we are dealing with sensors and transducers and we are well equipped with the different specifications of a sensor, let us move forward and classify these sensors. And since we have different types of sensors, depending upon their application we will use them in our mechatronic system, so it is always better to classify them. Exactly what are the different parameters on which they are classified and what are they. So let us move forward. Let us classify sensors. Now we can say that sensors are nothing but they can be classified into various groups according to factors such as the measurand, that is the physical quantity on which the physical quantity which is to be measured. So that can be formed as one of the parameters of a sensor. So we can say that sensors can be classified into various groups according to the factors such as measurand, application fields, their conversion principle, their energy domain of the measurand, and thermodynamic considerations. These are general classifications of sensors, and let us see key during based on these parameters what different types of sensors do we have if we classify sensors in view of their application in manufacturing. Since as a mechatronic engineer we are dealing most of our examples or applications will be a manufacturing sector. So let us classify these sensors keeping in mind that sensors are to be utilized in manufacturing. Now we have sensors to measure displacement, position, and the proximity sensors. These sensors are potentiometer, strain gauged element, capacitive element, differential transformers, eddy current proximity sensors, inductive proximity switch, optical encoders, pneumatic sensors, proximity switches, Hall effect. These are the sensors which we utilize for measuring displacement or position. These are termed as proximity sensors. So moving forward, the different type of sensors which are available to measure velocity and motion are incremental encoders. We have incremental encoders to measure velocity and motion. We have tachometer to do the same thing, and pyroelectric sensors. Remember, incremental tachometer and pyroelectric sensors are utilized to measure velocity and motion. To measure force, we have strain gauge load cell. So strain gauge load cell is a sensor which we utilize to measure force. To measure fluid pressure, we have diaphragm pressure gauge, capsules, bellows, pressure tubes. We have piezoelectric sensors and tactile sensors. All these sensors are utilized to measure fluid pressure. Now, to measure liquid flow, we have orifice plate and turbine meter. To measure liquid level, we have floats, differential pressure. And to measure temperature, now this is a phenomena which we measure most of the times. So different temperature measuring sensors are bimetallic strips, resistance temperature detector, thermistors, thermodiodes and transistors, thermocouples, and light sensors. Now these are the few type of sensors which we will cover, or which we will discuss in our coming lectures, which are utilized in manufacturing sector. Now, moving forward and talking about the very first type of few sensors which are utilized to measure displacement and position of any body or anything, or let it be that positional or displacement be angular displacement or linear displacement. We have in classification we saw that for measuring this displacement we have different type of sensors such as potentiometer, we have strain gauge element, capacitive element, differential transformers, eddy current proximity sensors, and we saw in our previous slide that for measuring displacement, position, proximity sensors we have different types of sensors. Let us move forward and discuss these sensors one by one. Now we are talking about measurement of displacement and position. Can we say that displacement sensors are basically used for measurement of movement of an object, and if we employ some position sensors, that means we are employing it to determine the position of an object in relation to some reference point, right? Wherever the point moves, we will always determine its position or its displacement with respect to some reference point, right? So we can say that proximity sensors are a type of position sensors and are used to trace when an object has moved within particular critical distance of transducer, right? So the very first displacement sensor is a potentiometer sensor. The figure shows the potentiometer sensor. Remember, the main parts of a potentiometer sensors are the wiper, that is a moving element, and a resistive strip. The figure shows the different parts of a potentiometer sensor, and we will discuss how it measures the displacement, right? The construction is a bit of simple one. It consists of a rotary type potentiometer sensor employed to measure the linear displacement. The potentiometer can be of course linear type or angular type. We will utilize this potentiometer to either measure some angular deformation or angular displacement or a linear type of displacement. Now the principle of working is such that it converts mechanical displacement into an electrical signal. Remember, what principle does potentiometer sensors use? The basic principle is that it converts mechanical displacement into electrical signal. The sensor has a resistive element and a sliding contact wiper. Remember in the figure, this something coiled one resistive strip, right? This is nothing but a resistive element and a movable element that we call it as a wiper, that is the sliding contact. So what exactly this wiper does, it slides along some body. That body may be conductive body acting as a movable electric contact. This sliding body, that is the wiper, slides on this resistive strip, right? Okay, now we can say that the main objective of displacement sensor is to measure the angular displacement, the linear displacement, and a cable is kept stretched during operation. Let us move forward. We can say that the resistive element is a wire, the thing which is stripped, this coiled something, resistive strip. This resistive strip is a wire which is wound or is conductive plastic. Either it is a wire or it is a conductive plastic. The track comprises of large number of closely packed turns of resistive wire. Remember, this we say that this is nothing but a wound track. This comprises of large number of closely packed turns. The wire has different terms, that is very closely packed. So we can sum with a thing that the track comprises of large number of closely packed turns of resistive wire. Now let us see what this conductive plastic is and what this wire is. Regarding the conductive plastic, this conductive plastic is made of a plastic resin embedded with a carbon powder. Wire wound track has a resolution of order of 0 plus or minus 0.01%, while the conductive plastic may have the resolution of 0.1 micrometer. Remember what we are talking about? We are talking about the wire, this a resistive wire or resistive strip. Either this resistive strip would be a resistive element or a conductive plastic. Now what conductive plastic is? Conductive plastic is nothing but a plastic resin embedded with a carbon powder, and a wire wound track has a resolution of 0.01%, while the conductive plastic may have the resolution of 0.1 micrometer. So that is a brief comparison between a wire wound track and a conductive plastic. We can either use a wire wound track or a conductive plastic. Now let us discuss how this sensor works. We know that since we are using this wiper and the resistive strip, this resistive strip is wound on the place or the surface whose displacement is to be measured. Now what exactly it senses? During operation or during sensing operation, a voltage Vs is applied. Remember, we are applying some voltage and we are naming it as Vs. A voltage Vs is applied across the resistive element. We have a very small diagram which shows the output voltage. The output voltage is shown in this figure. So what exactly we are doing? We are supplying some voltage Vs at some point. So this is the Vs, which is the supplied voltage. A voltage divider circuit is formed. So we are forming a circuit and the voltage has been divided. We are dividing this voltage. Vs is your supplied voltage, and further we are dividing this voltage by forming a voltage divider circuit. The output voltage Va is measured. Finally, after dividing this voltage, we measure the output voltage. So the output voltage is Va. Right? Now The output voltage is proportional to the displacement of the slider over the wire. Remember, since we are say this portion, this hole is nothing but a shaft. What we are doing, our main part or our sensor is this wiper and this resistive strip. This resistive strip is sticked to the shaft surface and the wiper moves along this surface. Now what we have done, we have supplied some voltage, say Vs, then the voltage has been divided and finally the output voltage is measured. This output voltage is proportional to the displacement of the slider over the wire. Then the output parameter displacement is calibrated against the output voltage VA, and since we are getting the output voltage VA, this output voltage is calibrated with the displacement and this output voltage is finally measured. Now how is it measured? It is measured with the help of the relation VA. We know that it is the output voltage will be equal to I into RA, and VA is your output voltage equals to I into RA. It is nothing but your Kirchhoff law, V equals to IR. So VA equals to I into RA, but we also know that current is equal to supplied voltage upon RA plus RB, that is supplied voltage upon the divided voltage, total A voltage, that is resistance voltage RA and RB. Therefore we can say that the output voltage VA is equal to Vs into RA upon RA plus RB. Now as we also know that resistance is equal to rho L upon A, and this is a relation and electrical relation where rho is electrical resistivity, L is length of the resistor and A is area of cross section. So finally we measure the output voltage VA as Vs into LA upon LA plus LB. This is the final equation where we get the output voltage VA. Now this output voltage VA which we measure is calibrated to give us the displacement, be that displacement be in terms of angles or some form of linear displacement. So finally this is the working principle of our potentiometer. Right? Now let us see its application where this potentiometer is utilized. A potentiometer is generally or primarily used to control in the control systems with the feedback loop to ensure that the moving member or component reaches its commanded position. These are typically used on machine tool controls, elevators, liquid level assemblies, forklifts, automobile throttle controls. Now in manufacturing, these are used in control of injection molding machines, woodworking machinery, printing, spraying, robotics, etc. These are also used in computer controlled monitoring of sports equipment. Remember, whenever we are going for automation and we require to measure some displacement or position, in that case we will use potentiometer. Now generally we will see its specification, since we have many types of sensors to be employed, so we will go through their specification and finally see whether the particular type of sensor meets our requirement. So in this lecture we have studied the potentiometer. We have seen what a potentiometer is, how exactly does it works, what is its working principle, and finally we settled with its application and its application in manufacturing sector. So this is all about position sensor. Now remember, in the coming lectures we will discuss each type of sensors from a university point of view. You have to be read the working principle of potentiometer and be prepared with it. So I think we should stop here, and we'll continue with our discussion in the coming lectures. Okay, thank you.